Going to a football match in the middle of pandemic feels like an undergoing just task in a reality TV show. A pre-match message instructs me to arrive at Hampden Park in Glasgow 3 hours before Scotland kick off against the Republic. I must wear a mask at all times. I must take in all food from my micro deck into a plastic bag provided by the stadium, and all the catering allowed will be shut. So no fancy burgers or cartoons of Pepsi to keep me going. When I immediately turn up to the stadium 3 hours early, the crowds are predictably sparse. The pub outside the ground overflow with supporters wrapped in scarlet flag looked like a tempting alternative. But when I suggest that steward that I might go get a drink ahead of the game, a look of concern crosses her kindly face. Be careful which pub you're going to, she said. They will see you coming. What is she referring to? Could it be the Dance book bag A4 side that I'm clutching? I have given my spare ticket to Scott, my friend Alastair, who is from Edinburgh, so also now 100% at home in Glasgow. We decided to take the advice and skip the pub. Inside the stadium, we encounter a fan in the loudest tartan suit I ever seen, including a tiny tartan clothes bag. I pause for a photo with him and he tells me, I had it tailor-made, son. It fits me like a glove. It fits me like a glove. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar tournament. Euro 2020, as UEFA insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. National football team as symbol of the nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. The pressing issue for Scotland is independence. For England, it is race. It is English football team has decided to take the knee before matches as a protest against racism. But it's time they do it. They are booed by a significant section of their own supporters. Even the government seems uncertain about how to respond. After hesitating for a while, Boris Johnson, Prime Minister, condemned the booing and urged fans to get behind the team, but two members of his cabinet, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Priti Patel, defended the protest, with Rees-Mogg suggesting that the protesters are not expressing racism but condemning the Marxists of Black Lives Matter movement. Patel British Home Secretary accused the player of indulging in gesturing politics. Players from the England team press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp. Now being asked to react Home Secretary, it would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of the classic with the England team. Last year, it went down to an ignominious defeat when it took on Marcus Rashford over the extension of free school meal for poor families. Families. The Manchester United and England forward mobilized a million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to take the 23-year Rashford preparation for Euro 2020 included a Zoom call with Obama, while plenty of Tories are prepared to grumble about the work in Rashford. None are willing to take him in public. The culture wars over football are not just happening in Britain. The multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game. They're also booed by the crowd. Russians also protesting against Marxism. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, one of the nations for Euro 2020, defended fans who were visiting team that saying that Hungarians see the gesture as provocation. Orban is himself a right-wing provocateur who has become a hero to the Trumpist right in America by issuing frequent warning about the alleged dangers Europe being flooded by Muslims. Even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable with footballers taking the knee. One prominent Tory thinker in Britain laments to me that football used to be a political space, but now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament inevitably brings back memories of Euro 96. When England also played their games at Wembley and the whole country did seem to get behind the team. In an whole country behind the team in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then, packed the stadium, all joining the singing of two lines, and football's coming on. Now the stadiums are largely empty and some of the home crowds actually bring the players. But somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the idea that the team was never mixed up with politics or race an illusion. English foot games England games have always attracted a substantial number of Saudi hooligan and far-right supporters whose trademark chant is "No surrender to IIA." At the last European Football Championship France in 2016, the ugly tradition of English football hooliganism re-emerged when I remarked that another fan that I didn't particularly enjoy being caught up in a near riot outside a bar in Marseille. I was told curtly, "If you don't like it, you should stay at home and watch the game on television." Football ground in the 1970s were also where I saw the most over racing that I ever witnessed. It was routine to see black players bark by boots and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. So, if the current national side feel they want to make a statement about racing, it is hard to accuse them of bringing police into a political space. But now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it now the nation. Mm, the large European Okay, well, substance father support those are at the last European Football Champion France in if you don't like you should stay watch football right in the 90s where I saw the most overrated that I ever witnessed. It was routine to see the players spark by boots and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. So if the current national side feel they want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing politics into the political space. But now the national team has become a the politics, particularly the racial politics, have always been there. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. Euro 2020 comes as the Scottish government is ramping up demand for a second independent referendum. This is the first major international tournament the team has qualified for since 1998, neatly fitting the narrative of national revival. Arriving in Scotland for the first game of the tournament, I find the local papers full of optimism. In recognition of the enormity of the occasion, the Scottish government has even allowed schools to stop lesson to allow their kids to watch the game against sex lives. As a visiting English fan, I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting Scotland in big international tournaments. I had little option since England failed to qualify for the World Cup in 1973 and 1974 and 1978, but British identity was less complicated back then. The anthem played for the Scotland side that lined up to play Brazil in 1974 was "God Save the Queen", although the two recordings are not show the Scottish players looking particularly delighted. That's right, the crowd and team will be belting out "Love Scotland" Scotland loud enough out of Scotland. Belting out loud enough out the truck. It was quite far for more than one. But today, thanks God to love one. Loud enough out to anthem played for Scotland that lined up to play Brazil in 97 got saved looking although to be the YouTube recording done show the Scottish player looking particularly delighted. Today the crowd and team will be betting off Lost Scotland with the stern word they can still rise now and be the nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 90,000 people in Southampton, but today, thanks God, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty black and lonely in the state. Even if the Tartan army has been reduced to little more than a per battalion, they built up Loud Scotland loud enough to drown out conversation. The team started the game with all the expected passion and stream forward. Their captain Andrew Worthing can be seen gesturing to his player to calm down. Then the Czech score, and the air is sucked out of the stadium. At halftime, we tried to spend in the toilet next to the hand dryer, the warmest spot in Hampden. There's hopeful chatter around the union that Scotland might be able to turn this round, but early in the second half, the football history is made by the Czechs. The team centre forward gets the ball. Patrick Schick. The team centre forward gets the ball on the halfway line and floats ball over the Scottish goalkeeper into the net. It is one of the most brilliant goals any of us will ever witness. The crowd is now almost totally silent, apart from a tiny group of cheering Czechs on the other side of the stadium, and a group of children near me who continue happily shout for Scotland. while the other round was frozen in horror. After the match, Alastair reminds me that Scottish fan I used to be a disappointment. Disappointment. Making the national football team a symbol of nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. The pressing issue for making the nation of making the national football team a symbol of nation is double-edged sword. You imagine them scoring wonderful goals and celebrating with the fans, but what if your goalkeeper floundering fell on his back and tangled him in the net? Euro 2020 has already delivered humbling setback for two football metropolis leaders. Orban gave permission for capacity crowd to attend Hungary's opening games in Budapest against Portugal, only to see the national side lose 3-0. Recep Erdogan, president of Turkey, traveled to Azerbaijan and sat in a place of honor next to Azer prison from where he was able to see Turkey go down to a 2-0 defeat against Wales. England fans also have a habit disappointing their most ardent fan. The side often portrays as the embodiment of what we like to believe are national characteristics: courage, calmness under pressure. In fact, as a recent piece by John Lee in The Guardian pointed out, England are uniquely bad at holding a lead in a tournament. The numbers seem to suggest they might even be Butler, and they or her see the French and Italians are much better at holding their nerve when they take lead. If Gareth get the England major can somehow break this cycle and turn England to winning outfit, it will potentially provide a huge boost to Johnson government that is desperate for symbol of the success of Brexit Britain. But Southgate has subtly but mistakenly positioned himself to the left of the government on taking the knee. He leads a multiracial team and has continued to defend their right to make statements other than to make statement to make statement other than subjects other than to make statement on subject other than football. It has become accepted recently in Britain that culture will always work better for the right than the left, but football may be an exception. A poll taken across Europe before 2020 showed 54% of English football fans supported taking the knee, with 39% opposed. If the England team keep winning, the number in favor may rise, along with the team's popularity. Team's popularity. For once, the right may find itself on the wrong end of the culture war. For the duration of Euro 2020, I will care much less about who wins the culture war than who wins the tournament. For Scotland, Euro 2020 began with a deflating defeat. The England team disappointed their fans almost as reliably as the Scots. Just slightly later in the day, on the other hand, this is a weird tournament. It's taking place in the middle of a pandemic, the stadiums are quarter full, and England are playing half Disney. I am allowing myself to hope for the weirdest outcome of the lot, an England victory.